So my name is Iracheta. I am an immigrant from Mexico. I arrived in the US when I was 12 years old, and this is where I kind of finished my school, went to university, graduated with a mechanical engineering bachelor's in 2019 from Northern Illinois University, and then I started my career in method electronics. I was there for 2 years, and I recently just switched to a different company, same position, manufacturing engineer. So been practicing for about 2 years. Other than my job and my role as an engineer, I have a page called Latina Engineer, which is on the process of becoming a nonprofit. We just create content on social media and have a yearly conference called International Latina Engineer Week. Not at all. I was kind of lost even as a senior in high school. So I always enjoyed math, even though it was a class that everybody always hated it. I liked it. It was the class that I didn't have a problem because of my English. It made sense when I was in Spanish. It made sense when I got here and I didn't learn English. Yet it was like I could still make sense out of it because it was numbers. And until I was a senior in high school, I took physics. And honestly, it was really challenging. I wanted to get out of the class within a couple of weeks because my first test wasn't good. And then, my parents, my counselor convinced me to stay in there. And then I found out that I actually really enjoyed it. Even though it was a challenge and it was difficult, I liked being able to, overcome that challenge and understanding how things work the way they did. So that's when I knew I wanted to do STEM. Until I started college, I thought I was going to be a physics major, and then I started kind of like venturing into engineering until I have finally found, mechanical engineering is the one that I'm more interested in. I started at a community college. So I did 2 years at a local community college, and then I transferred to a four-year university. I was able to get a scholarship for my first 2 years, and I had actually two. One paid for my tuition, and the other one let me into a program that was for STEM students. So we met once a month. We had, this like group of students that you were able to meet just from being there. You met almost all the STEM professors and you got a mentor in the field that you were interested in. So I got in physics, a mentor in physics. It was a woman, it was an immigrant, and she was a woman of color. So I was really able to, see like a role model right from when I started. So it was really influential. It was really beneficial to be able to see that, to also have a mentor and to have that group of STEM people that I was able to learn more about careers and kind of like more find the one that was better for me. And then after that, I transferred to the four-year university. So you go from your gen ed to going full into engineering courses. All your classes are full in engineering. So it was really challenging the first couple of weeks. It was only because of my family and my boyfriend at the time, which is my husband now, that I had the support from them. They like always believe in me, telling me that I could do it. I did bad at the beginning of the semester, and eventually I worked my way to be better. And that was every semester, so eventually I got I got used to that. I really like using SolidWorks. So that's like my favorite class because I really enjoyed all the assignments. The homework didn't feel like homework because I liked using the program. And it's a software that I used in my first job, in my internships, and now in my second job, I'm still using it. But the other one that I didn't really like the first time when I took it, even the second time because I had to take it twice. Now I really enjoy it's material science. So I got out of it the first time. I didn't finish it because it was I felt like there was no way for me to pass that class. I had to take it a second time, which went way better. But I still had, my like I kind of hate this, but like it's okay. But now that I am like out of school, I've used it a lot, and I think it's super interesting. So it was just like maybe something that I didn't really enjoy, and now I really like, and I wish I could take it again. So, the biggest ones are mechanical, electrical, industrial, civil. Um, but when I was taking physics, I was able to see, like the more mechanical part of physics. And to me, the things that I could see made more sense. So things that move, things like something falls, things like that really made way more sense to me than, think about electrons and all this other stuff. I just couldn't really wrap my head around it. So that just kind of gave me an idea that it had to be something more towards that. I was interested in biomedical at some point, but the school that I wanted to go to didn't have biomedical under mechanical. It was an electrical engineering degree, and then you could focus on biomedical. But I knew electrical wasn't really something that I was really interested in. So I did have to do some debate whether I wanted to do something that maybe I was looking for, or what are my options. And with engineering, it overlaps. Like with biomedical and mechanical, even with electrical, sometimes you don't have to specifically do the title that, or like the bachelor's that you got. So I did mechanical and I'm working as a manufacturing engineer. I saw the potential that it was one of the most generic ones. It has so many different branches that you could go into. So I saw it like a career where I enjoyed it, but I also saw a lot of opportunities to go into different fields. Solving problems and seeing things get made, because as a design engineer in mechanical, sometimes you make the designs but you don't really get to see them. I've heard from engineers that they make this complex design and then they send it out to someone else, to another company to make it, and they never actually get to see it. And with manufacturing, you get to see the drawings, and then you get to see and even establish how it's going to be made, or tell if you're going to be able to make it or not. So I think that's super interesting because you get to see the whole process. I don't think I can ever just sit over the computer and make drawings and send them out and be like, good luck. Like they'll be over there. And like I just find that kind of like boring, because I like making the designs and I get to do that as manufacturing. Um, some of my job is still overlaps with design, but I get to experience the second part of it, like seeing it come to life. I heard today, I was listening to a book, to an audiobook, and it's like, we solve problems. And if there's not a problem, we're going to make one just so that we can solve it. So definitely that curiosity, trying to figure out how things work, finding a better way to do it. Something that also, now that I was doing my job, is like, don't be scared. And I was like, no, I am scared, but I'm not letting it stop me. You can learn everything. As long as you're open to learning, you'll be fine. Because, for example, this job is a completely different industry. So like I know how to use my SolidWorks, which is important for both positions that I've been. So that obviously is going to help me. I know I have the background from mechanical and manufacturing, so that's going to help me. But for example, I'm doing automation now, which is something that I hadn't done before. I didn't really look at in school, but I'll be like, I'll figure it out, and I'll have all these people that are going to help me, and I have the internet to do whatever I don't know. Yeah, in school I felt really like out of place because I was, my English wasn't the first language I knew. I was one of maybe two women out of 80 students once I got to the upper classes. I was shy, so I didn't really reach out to the other students. So it made it really hard to feel like I fit in. I was just trying to get through my degree and get out and do my life. But now that I have the community of Latina engineers, has really changed the way I see things and have really made me feel like I belong here. So I say just like try to find that. Like you can find another woman if you see another girl in your classes, like go out, sit next to them, talk to them. The other students, if you think that maybe they're not talking to you or whatever, it's probably just because they're just as shy as you. At work, I felt like I was always really welcome. It was nice. At my first job, it was like I always felt like I could do everything. My boss was really supportive. Never made me felt like I was any different because I was a woman. So that really helped me, develop the courage and the confidence to keep learning and keep growing, trying new things. But it exists. I had counselors that told me that I couldn't have good grades because my English wasn't like as fluent, or I had other like Mexican students that told me that I couldn't be a good speller because I was Mexican, from someone that had similar background to myself. So it makes you think like, why are these people just trying to hate on other people that might even be similar to them? I felt really comfortable when I started my first, engineering job. I felt like for once I was, I could be whatever I wanted, and nobody was telling me that I couldn't do something because I was wearing pink or because I was wearing heels or anything like that. So I just wanted to share that. I wanted to share that it wasn't so bad like sometimes we think that it's gonna be like, to encourage other people, to other women, to be like you can be yourself. You don't have to dress manly or anything. Like when I was in school, I would wear like more jeans and just t-shirts and like boots. And then once I started working, I was like, oh wait, no, I don't have to dress like that all the time, to like not look as different. So, and then after that, I was able to connect with other Latinas that were in different states, in different countries. And that's just like you start meeting this community that you have access to, where you wouldn't meet them if you just stick to your school or your job, where you might be the only woman or the only Latina in engineering. So just that inspired me to be like, okay, we're growing a network. I want you guys to be able to connect with each other, not that you just follow me because. And then the other thing is just like motivation. You know, I had it really hard where I would cry, once or twice a week. And just seeing that little like you can do it, or like you're not any different. Even you just see it like sometimes you're just like you need to take a break from your homework or whatever, and you see that, and it might help what think that I can do it, and like I'm gonna try harder, and I have these goals and I'm studying this for a reason, so I'm gonna make it. Yeah, so when I was still at my previous job, it wasn't as crazy as right now. So, I worked my full-time job, and I was privileged to the point where I could start at the time that I wanted to start, which I actually enjoy starting early. So I would do, 7 to 4, 7 to 3:30, and do my job there and focus on my job. But then after I was done with that, I had certain days where I'd be like, okay, I can take a call this day and this day, and then I can work on the orders from the Etsy shop on this and this day, or I can work on other content those same days. Because other than that, it's just like if you let it, it's just you're gonna get another message, you're gonna get another thing, and you're never gonna enjoy life. So I had to learn that I needed to take time for myself. I needed to have time for the page, and I needed to have time for my job. So it was a point where I was overwhelmed, and I had to set those boundaries. Maybe I can only meet this day, and like if it doesn't work, then it doesn't have to work. I can't be on every single event. I always have to be really careful not to forget about me resting, because I could be sitting in front of my computer for the rest of the day after work, and I will not finish the stuff that I need to do. So I think scheduling and kind of like sticking to that has helped me out a lot. Before it was manufacturing, and we were actually a smaller team of manufacturing engineers, so it was either meetings where we went over production or any other items that were pending. If we had any new launches of new products, we would have other meetings for that, reviewing whether we could make it, the quotes, the equipment that we needed. Besides from those, that would be like throughout the day. If any problems were on the line, then we were probably the ones that they will call to go into the shop, or any drawing that needed to be updated. It will come through me, and then either I will tell the design team to update it, or it will be something that I could do myself. If there was a new line, I would be there either writing work instructions, training people, or sometimes even doing it myself, just if it was like the very first run. Um, I think that was mostly it. Any paperwork that we needed, like process flows, analysis, things like that, I will do also. But it was something that I really enjoyed because it was always something new. It was always something different. So you definitely never go bored. I think researching about the different types of engineering, reaching out to other people like professionals or students that are maybe a couple years ahead. But I think mostly professionals used to like ask, and not just one, but like multiple ones. Because if you're asking, for example, electrical engineers, one engineer could be working on something, and then if you ask another engineer in a different company, they could be doing something completely different. So getting like a point of view of multiple people in the field. Um, and then just kind of like doing, if you can start doing internships as early as you can. At this job that I'm starting, we have an intern that's still in high school, and those really help you because that's when you connect what you learn in school to the real world, to the work that you might be doing later. If you have your goals, you have your dreams, and you're doing something for a reason, it's going to be scary, but you have to understand that it's okay as long as it doesn't stop you. And a lot of things I've done, I've been really scared, like jumping into a call, doing a presentation at a conference, taking the new job, even just applying. It was scary because it was like, what if this job is like, I'm good here, but it's not really what I should be knowing and stuff like that. So it's always going to be scary, but you have to look farther from that. So like, what is my goal? And if being scared for those first 5 minutes, if that's going to get me there, then I'm going to do it.